What's going on, guys? James Gendry here. Guess who I got in the hot seat today? Mr. Angelo Christian himself. What's going on, sir?
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I think it's well, I've been interviewed before, so.
Yeah. Have you ever been interviewed in your own studio like this?
No, I don't think I have, but I'm curious to see. I don't know what the questions are, so I hope that there's not anything that's too personal.
I'm about to ask some funny shit.
No, that's fine. You can ask me whatever you want. I told you I wanted it to be blind because I didn't want to know what you're going to ask me, and so you asked me about doing this a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm at least somewhat noteworthy to even have an interview. So hopefully we'll see where this goes, and yeah, I mean, if it helps inform people out there about who I am and what we're doing, then yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. So
awesome, man. Well, hey, let's get it started.
Okay.
So the first question I have for you, and a lot of people have asked this question, is you being who you are, how did you get your start?
Well, as far as my career.
Yeah, the industry.
Okay.
How'd you come up?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I don't know, a lot of people, you might know my background. We grew up very poor in poverty. My dad left us when I was 14 years old.
Oh wow.
And I come from a family of 5 brothers and sisters, and from a lower income family here in Houston. Mm-hmm. My mother was a waitress, trying to take care of all of us, and her real role was being a mother. Mm-hmm. And so basically I dropped out of school in the 6th grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And to take care of my brothers and sisters, I got 3 jobs. I was working at Academy, Subway, and Kroger, which is a grocery store, mm-hmm. And their butcher department, just to kind of make ends meet. And we lost the house that we're living in, and we're living in a hotel. So we lived in a hotel for about over a year. Mm-hmm. And it got so bad that even the car that we had got repossessed, and then I was having to walk to work. Now you have to keep in mind, I don't know how many of you guys know my story, but at that time I weighed about 400 pounds. I know that might be hard to imagine.
You looking good these days. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and so I had a 56-inch waist. I had, my shirts were 5X.
Damn, man.
Chris is like, what the hell, man? So, and yeah, it's true. And broke and extremely overweight and unhappy, and basically. One of the movies that I really was always impressed with was Rocky. Rocky the movie is my favorite movie of all time. And one night I was, as I got home from work, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was working at a restaurant at the time in the kitchen, mm-hmm. and just tired. And the only time you watch TV to wind down, I turned on Rocky, and Rocky's there and he's fighting Apollo, and Rocky can just keep taking the hits; he won't go down. And
it's about how much you can get hit.
Yeah, how much you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And his determination, his resiliency, is what won the championship, and how he beat Creed. And mm-hmm. It wasn't that he was smarter or more athletic or more endurance. He wouldn't give up. And so the next day, when I was walking to work, a 7-mile walk from the hotel to the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And so
you guys didn't have Uber back then. So.
No, there was no Uber. There was no Uber back then. And the cabs were ridiculous. So I just I had my Walkman, and I started playing some of the Rocky music, and it just really inspired me. Man, I ended up just running all the way to work. And being 400 pounds, you normally can't even move. And what ended up happening from that, I created a habit to exercise every night after work. And so I go run around the hotel and around the area. At that time was a field. And basically lost the weight, and then enrolled myself to go back into school. Got my GED. So I lost like 200 pounds, like 12 months.
Mhm.
I was exercising.
That's nuts.
And so got back into school, really started to focus deep with school, and went to U of H for finance and economics. Along the way, I had a really good friend that I had kind of split ways with when I made this transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't seen him like in 5 years. We're very close childhood friends. He went a different direction than I wanted to, and there was nothing wrong with that. But when I was going to school, I was a limo driver to pay for school, and to pay for the bills and everything. And the customers had asked me to take them to a certain club in Houston that night, and lo and behold, he pulls up in a brand new Escalade.
Oh, wow.
And he's wearing like a $2,000 suit, and it's literally like something you'd see in the movie. He takes the cash out of his wallet, throws it out, and the guy's like 24 years old.
Damn.
And he's living in a high rise, in the gallery, the big high rises in the Galleria.
Yeah.
And I said, whoa, what's up, man? I ran into him, and he's like, man, what the hell happened to you? And I'm sitting there, as a limo driver, and going through school. And he's like, hey, I got into the mortgage industry and the banking industry, and I'm doing really good. I'm killing it. I'm making a ton of money. And at that time, I never made more than $2,000 in a month. That was a good month for me. And so, basically, I was enthralled by it because I didn't know that people could do that. So, as far as make a lot of money in a short amount of time without growing within a company, like the traditional 30 years in a corporation and kind of grow your way up. And so I went to his house. He showed me exactly what I need to do. And so got involved in the business. I went to the same company, the bank he worked for, and literally just modeled off of that. And became the #1 producer in Texas. And
attaboy.
Yeah, man, yeah. And so did very well financially there.
Do you have your Walkman in like all the way up?
Huh?
Did you have Rocky going playing in the Walkman?
Well, I mean, at that time, I went from that to 8% body fat, and I was already bodybuilding and
shredded.
The whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
And so you've seen some of the pictures when I was bigger.
If you guys haven't seen these pictures, he was mad, like yoked.
So that's when I was in a bulking phase, but you bulk and cut. So
I'm forever in a bulking phase. I could Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, forever bulking.
Sometimes you need to do that, but so anyway, I got it. Yeah, I mean, I built the business and started my company. After that. After I learned from them in June of 2005.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So throughout the the troubles and the heartache and everything, it seems like you've actually came out on top and everything. And I'm sure you've met a lot of influential people then. So who's the most influential person that you've met?
That I met personally or in my mind?
Nah. Well, I mean, we'll say both.
So in my mind, the person I probably look up to the most, there's a few people. Warren Buffett, definitely Warren Buffett. I mean, anything he says is gold, and I wish that. I started reading Buffett when I was 18 years old, and I wish that I would have applied more of his tenets, his lessons. A lot more, and I'd probably be a lot better off today. Jeff Bezos with Amazon, I really admire him. I listen to him all the time. Just really powerful people. As far as the people that I've physically met, that I've had a chance to talk to, that really impressed me, and that helped to shape my life. Tony Robbins.
Okay.
He was a huge player or person in this. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You've met?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I must have been in the bulky phase.
I haven't gotten to hang out with him, but I've met him. And he's one of the people that has been extremely... I think that if any guy would want to be anybody, it would be Arnold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, because he had it all.
Oh, yeah.
He had the body, he had the girls, he had the money.
Dude was he comes in from another guy. He's a true like American the American dream story. Comes in from another country.
Yep.
And then he's in movies, bodybuilding, has all the girls. Then he becomes like the governor of California, and he's still at it.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that knock him, but I think he's amazing. There's there's a great book that was published a few years ago, and it's a story about his life, and I highly recommend. It's called Total Recall.
Oh,
the book's called Total Recall, but it's a total recall of his life.
Gotcha.
And it's a very good book. And so Sylvester Stallone's another guy that I've met that was very inspirational, monumental. And then obviously like Warren Buffett's business partner Charlie Munger. Extremely just I like to listen to very bright people that have made huge moves. So those are the biggest my in-person mentors. And then now as far as anybody like coaching me directly, I haven't really had anyone coach me directly. I do have a from some of the things that I do, who I look up to a lot. Some of you guys might know who Tom Sosnoff is. He's a extremely successful trader. He built Thinkorswim and has Tasty Trade and is extremely wealthy and
doesn't he? Is that the gentleman who runs like all of Chicago?
He does run. Well, that's Ken Griffin. Griffin.
Okay, that guy.
That's the
that's the upper echelon.
Tom's a little bit below him, but financially, but on a personal level, the guy's amazing. Mm-hmm. And really, Tom is, he's helped me out a lot with my trading, and so, Ken Griffin is another guy that's amazing. I've never met Ken. I've studied him a lot, and he's a brilliant genius. But I don't. There's no way for me to get, or right now to get. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to have connection with him, but.
Have one of these little sit downs.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, but I gotta increase my deserve it factor. And so
that's the law of the lid. It's a John C. Maxwell thing. 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Mm-hmm. It's a John C. Maxwell concept. It's called the law of the lid.
Okay. It's actually law of the lid.
Law of the lid.
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 And what does it mean?
So basically, you know how they have that concept where you are the 5 people that you spend most time with.
Yeah.
So the people who most influence you. Mm-hmm. That's who you're limited to. That's your cap.
Yeah.
Right. So if you increase that level,
right.
So if you increase the quality of that level, then you will in return increase yourself. Right. So it's the law of the lid.
Right.
Because you're capped out at that point.
Right.
So it's
I agree. That. It's very powerful. I mean, I notice. I don't know if you guys pay attention to that, but I notice that when I hang around certain people, that just on a subconscious level. It can be very good or very dangerous, because if it's the wrong person, it could wreak havoc on your life, and you have to be really careful about who you let in.
Yeah, man, I wholeheartedly agree. The next question I have for you is, what is the most valuable thing to you and why?
The most valuable thing?
Most valuable thing. I know some things you can't put a price on, and some things are just absolutely priceless. Mm-hmm. What is the most valuable thing to you, not as like, okay, I own this cup, but like personality-wise?
Well, I mean, are you talking about like the physical, the spiritual?
Metaphysical realm. We'll go metaphysical realm. Meaning it could be knowledge-based, it could be virtues. Mm-hmm. What is the most valuable thing to you?
I mean, I would say what's coming to me is how the brain works, my mind, the ability to learn things, and learning is such a learning and execution. The mind is unbelievable, and it still amazes me. 36 years old, and how powerful it is, and how lethal it can be, and
That's true.
it can if you allow it to be. And so it really is amazing. And so I would say, the it's so important that, and I'm on my kids about this all the time, that you have got to be very careful about what you're doing with your time and the information as far as what you're gathering. I get really frustrated with my kids if they're wasting time on stupid stuff.
Yeah,
and
time's the greatest commodity we all have. We can't get it back.
We can't get it back.
We can get gold, money.
Yeah.
These things are miscellaneous compared to time.
Yeah. So I would say that make every second count. Make every second count. If you're out there and you're you need to be a learning machine.
Gotcha.
You need to implement the learning. And then another thing I would say, that you need to be focused. Man, you get, we're talking about it earlier today. It's so easy to get distracted. I feel like I wasted many years by not being focused and staying focused on the,
wrong things.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I say, that, don't get good at the wrong thing. Don't get good at the wrong thing.
It's a really good concept.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask why real estate, but you kind of answered that question a bit earlier. So is real estate the only industry you're in, or are you into some other industries as well?
No, it's not. So that's real estate. We're in the credit lending, and then we also we have some other verticals that we're in, online education that we're rolling out, and then obviously trading, investing. We do a few different things with our trading account, our portfolio. We do active trading.
Oh, sweet.
Where we're literally making several trades a day. And then there's also long term, if right now, for example, Under Armour's on his butt, and so I like that company and I think it has good long term prospects. So we'll take a long position on that. And then,
but we're shorting Bitcoin, everybody.
Yeah, but you're shorting other things, and so you're shorting other things shorting the market. And then the way that we run the portfolio, it's more with futures and options.
Okay.
And not really stock. So we use futures and options.
I gotta get on that level, because that's just
it is different. There's a learning curve for sure, because you're using. You have more leverage with those products, those instruments, and if it's done rightly or it's done correctly, you can have high yields, and then we're also we do some stuff with e-com, the Amazon and Shopify that we're working on. Those are relatively new things. Our core business right now is the mortgage banking. But the thing is that I think that our company, as being a holdings company, an investment company, we're not like an Apple that just does one thing. That's not, unfortunately, for me, I wasn't gifted like Steve Jobs to come up with stuff like that, or Elon Musk like Tesla. Those are extremely brilliant people.
I would hate to be Elon Musk's lawyer.
Just imagine. The guy's amazing though.
He's one of the most brilliant minds that ever walked the face.
And I'm not, and I can tell you honestly that that's not who I am. I can create a business and scale a business and recruit and build a team, come up with the marketing.
Okay.
And then at the end of my life, or at the end of the business, is to have how some people have a great collection of baseball cards or a great collection of nice paintings. I want to have a great collection of businesses, and that's
a good way to be.
Yeah. Then so that's and I'm so we have all these verticals that we're in, and some of them are very new concepts, some of them are more seasoned, and the whole idea is to build all of them up and have management in place to oversee the different organizations. So
okay, so in all these business ventures, how do you measure the success of each business?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know,
the revenue clearly.
Yeah, the KPI, the key performance indicators. You know, we're looking at, you know, the margins, return on investment. You know, obviously, employee turnover. You know, employee satisfaction.
So making sure, taking care of your guys is a big thing.
It is. I mean, the most important thing to me is the customer. The customer comes first, and then the employee. So the way I look at it is the customers first. So we have something called, and Jeff Bezos has coined this, you know, CDR, customer-driven response.
Jack Ma does as well.
Yeah. So Jack Ma, very important. Yeah. So, and so we look at what the customers are telling us, and you know, the feedback that they're getting, whether they're getting good service, bad service. They want these products. They want the price to be lower, or they want faster service. And so we truly believe that, like what Jeff Bezos says, the customer model is the optimal one. And so we try to work towards that as much as we can, to have the right products and have the right, you know, they always want to, you know, process loans faster or be faster with your business. And so, I mean, you know, so customers, but the team is very important too. But we do put the customer in front of, because they're, you know, that's where the money's coming from.
They're the lifeline. Yeah, I get it. You know Simon Sink, correct? Okay, so he has this talk where he discusses finite versus infinite, and the difference between a finite player and an infinite player in the game of business and in life is a finite player is just trying to beat their competition for that season, and he compares it to when he went with Windows and Apple. He did a coaching seminar about with Windows, trying to talk to them and figure out, you know, what's going on with them. He sits in there, and 100% of the people that got up there were talking about how to beat Apple, how to beat their competition. Whereas he goes to Apple, and it's how can you better the customer? How can we be better so that we're in for the long term? So a finite player in this case would be Windows, because they're trying to beat that competition. And it was he talks about that was around the time where it was Zune versus iTouch. Okay. So he brought the new Zune that he got from Windows to the Apple people, and he was like, man, this is probably the most amazing thing. Mind you, they had just launched the iTouch. And he was in a limousine driving back to wherever they were going, in the back with sort of an employee 12 guy. And the gentleman said, you know what? I have no doubt. That was the end of the conversation. He thinks we assume that based off of that, you know, people are gonna just try to be in competition with other people constantly. The way to win infinite is you'll understand that you'll lose for seasons. Like, you might not have the best product in one season than somebody else does. But an infinite player is playing for longevity.
Yeah, no, it's like I said. I mean, you know, one of the, you know, being customer focused. There are business models that are product focused, competitor focused. And
some people it works best for.
Yeah, and some maybe they use a combination of all of them. I mean, we do keep an eye on the competition, but you know.
So you would classify yourself as more of an infinite player.
In that respect, yeah. I think that, I mean, like, for example, I mean, we just added insurance to our business, and now we're looking at adding personal loans.
That's awesome.
So, like, car loans, credit card loans.
You're just becoming a one-stop shop for everybody.
It's because that's what the customer's saying. Hey, well, you're getting your house, but we get your car too, and we get your insurance, and you can also, you want to consolidate your debt? We'll consolidate your debt for you.
Dovetail everything together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, why not do that? And so, I mean, they're telling us, you know, from what we've seen, that if they're going to come here to get the house, but then they're going over here to get the car loan, and they're going over here to get the insurance, I can put all that together in a package for them. You know, and so
that's brilliant.
Yeah, so that makes more sense, right? I mean, you know,
that's brilliant. So with everything you've got going on, I'm sure you have all kinds of external, internal stresses. How do you cope with stress and pressure? Or how do you deal with?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, the thing is, one thing that I do believe in a lot that I do is it's called, transcendental meditation. And, I don't know if you guys know who Ray Dalio is, but he's the guy that I really look up to. And he's a big advocate of, trying to meditate, and basically, that what helps to have the mind resolve, and to relax and not to have, so I think we all get anxiety, but it's how we deal with the anxiety. And so, you have to, one thing I always have like a key word, like, relax, or be cool, or I'll take deep breaths. And when you meditate and you kind of see the future, you see your future. And the other thing is that when you have experience, like I mentioned to you earlier, there's been times in my life where my assets have swung massively from volatility, and I've been through booms and busts with business, that you develop a thick skin on how to make decisions, and also that when you're going through these things, it's like you're developing this armor, and then that way when things happen again, you don't get your feathers ruffled, because you've been down those roads, you've been down those neural pathways. It's kind of like when you are driving your car or a truck, and it's raining in the mud, and there's a groove it makes in the ground. You have that neural pathway in your brain now because you've been down that road, and like for example, that these things are happening, whether with the portfolio or was with these people, and you know how to handle it. Just like when a surgeon sees, the guy comes in, he's got his heart and there's blood everywhere. He's seen that before. If I see that, I'm going to faint, right?
I would do the same.
But if he sees it, he does, okay, I'm just going to do this, boom, boom, boom. And he's been down that, he knows what to do. So, the experience, the experiences, and then, meditating, and then, that I know that also that if you want anything, that you have to, that you're going to have to go, and you're going to have to, endure a lot, man. And there's going to be a lot of setbacks, and the other thing that I think that I've been learning a lot recently, that I wish that I would have done this more of, is follow people that have kind of laid a path. Like I always knew that, like, hey man, okay, just model somebody that's working. But then somehow I get lost a little bit on that, and then I will, try to improvise with that, and sometimes things could take longer. So what I'm really focusing on now is, having a cabinet of advisors, and having the best people to get the advice from them on how to best, to optimize that, as opposed to, well, let me just tinker around with this. Like, for example, Facebook marketing, new thing for me. Let me see how the top people are doing it, and then I'm going to go talk to them. I'm not going to fool around with this for a year when I can just have them come show me. Have them come show me. So, and by doing that reduces stress.
Gotcha.
You see, because now I have professional people here that can show me. So better decision making. Not trying to make knee-jerk reactions. That can put
sometimes that can be rough.
Yeah, it can be. It just sometimes you have to. I mean, when you trade, for example, you're making decisions in nanoseconds. You don't have time to think, because it's a fast thing, and then and there's other times when, like, if you have to hire or fire someone, you have to think about it. So. But yeah, just try to not sweat the small stuff. Just relax, take deep breaths, meditate. I think is very good. So
awesome. So, what's your philosophy per se in life?
Philosophy in life, as far as, like, you mean like
What's like a mantra or motto that you go
Yeah.
like 50 Cent is get rich or die trying? What's yours?
Okay. You know, there's a quote by Emerson that I always really like, and I always think about it. And Emerson says, or Ralph Waldo Emerson, he says, you know, make the most of yourself because that's all you got. And so I really like that quote a lot. I think that you know, everybody I think on Earth is, and I know it's cliche that they're here for a reason, but you really need to, while you're here on Earth, you know, somehow leave your signature. You know, like Sam Walton, you know, he left us Walmart. You know, Steve Jobs left us Apple.
Let's be honest, they haven't really done much since.
Well, yeah, I mean, so, you know, Jeff Bezos, you know, in his lifetime, the stuff he's doing with Amazon, Blue Origin, you know, Tom Sosnoff with the trading and Thinkorswim and all these things, you know, do something great, man. Do something good and make the most of yourself. I think that is, and you know, what my one sentence thing is, and for a long time I struggled to find what that was. I think a lot of people are lost. Mm-hmm. I was lost for a long time, and so you know, but you know, I think that it's so important that you don't waste time, and that you make the most of yourself, and when you leave this earth, that you just weren't here.
It was a better place than when you left
that you left your signature in some way, whether you're a home builder, a physician. You don't have to be, not everyone has to be a billionaire, man. I mean, you know, or a millionaire. As long as you're doing like Mother Teresa, you know, or Mahatma Gandhi. These are people that have, you know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You know, they've changed the world forever, and they left a signature in some way that has shifted or moved the society. And so, and it's going to be different for everyone. For me, it'll be with business, and hopefully I can help people within the company to elevate and rise, and also from our customers to have them transform and rise in their life. You know, because that's what we do here is we're changing people's lives from not just from the customer standpoint, from internal too. Everyone that's ever come to work with me, that we've built on our organization, their income and their life has gotten better. You see, their incomes have gone up, their life has gone up. You don't see someone that's been with me for 5 years and say, man, my income's cut in half and my net worth is lower and I haven't grown. They don't say that, okay? So everyone says that when you talk to them and you go ask them, I don't have to speak for them, they're going to tell you, hey, you know, everyone that's in this office, that their financial situation has improved since they've been here. There's no one here that works here that can say no to that. Now, and also with our customers too, you know, so we help people every single day to put them into a home and better their situation. I mean, you hear some of the stories. I mean, some of these people, man, they come in here and really wrecked, messed up deal, and we turn them around and, you know, get them into a home. So
awesome. So last question I have for you, for a lot of these young cats trying to get in the game and, you know, be the next Angelo Christian, Grant Cardone, you know, big name people, what's the best advice you can give somebody just starting out into this industry?
Well, I would say, yeah, I mean, whether you're going to do this industry, I mean, we have Mortgage University, you know, that's something it's, you know, 13 years of my learning distilled down into an online platform to train people. And if you truly follow that, you'll become a millionaire if you implement the information. Okay. And so, because it's not just about mortgage, it's real estate, sales, but, you know, the thing that, whether it doesn't matter you're going in this industry or whatever you're going to do, that you first off, you need to find out what do you want to do with your life? Okay, what is your destiny? Right? What are you here to do? Second thing is go find that person that has what you want, and try to study them and get as close as you can to them, to get the information to work with them, but not in a in an illicit way to steal any information from them, but to somehow partner with them in some way to help them, because like the old proverb says that you can go fast by yourself, but you can go farther together. Okay, so you can't build something big and just all by yourself. It's not sensible. It's not going to happen. You need people to do that. Just how we rely on everyone here to do their job to get things done. So, I would say yes, find a mentor that's a real mentor that's an expert in that area, and then and immerse yourself in that to master the information, and then obviously implement it, and then from there you should be doing very well, and then after that, I think that you at some point, when you're in the position to do it, in the beginning you should start to give back. Okay, so that's the thing, is that figure out what it is that you want to do. Model the most successful person. Then from that, implement it and become successful, and then give back to help other people. Now, it doesn't mean you have to give back like you have to give somebody food or something. You can, but give back with the knowledge. Like we've started Mortgage University to teach people to give back. Hey, when I started in this industry, no one taught me. There was no coach or teacher.
Right.
I had to pay $1,200 a month to work at a desk. You didn't get paid a salary.
You rented the desk?
Yeah, you rented the desk.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was commission only.
Wow.
And you had no benefits. And there was no teacher there. And there was no online stuff like it is today in 2005. And so online was there, but not like it is today. So, give back with knowledge, give back with your time, help people. There's a lot of struggling people out there, man. And there's a lot of kids. That's one thing about, I'll talk about Angelo Christian Foundation, leaving no kid left behind. And, I going back to my life, I grew up very poor, struggling. There's probably more of that in the world than anything. But those people, they can become the next president. They can run the next, Chevron. They can lead the next Apple. They can build the next, Grant Cardone empire. But if you don't give them a chance and someone there to help them and mentor them and give them the right books, the right education, then that's never going to be realized, man.
So inspiring the next generation of leaders.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that, because life goes on.
That's true.
Life goes on, and that's the foundation that we've started. That's something that I want to do, because someone came to me when I was a kid, and when we were poor, a rich attorney in Houston, and came and brought us food and took care of us, for Thanksgiving, and brought us presents for Christmas. And so, and it really inspired me, because my dad couldn't do that. And so, to want to give back. And, I think in the end you have to give back, but you have to take care of your base, Yeah. And so that's my thing. And so.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good philosophy, and it was awesome getting to know you a bit better. And I'm sure everybody learned a few things that they didn't know about you before.
Yeah. I hope that. Yeah. I mean, I hope that it's, that's helped open your mind up a little bit, or show you a little bit more about who we are, what we do here, and I don't know what you're going to do with all this content, but
we're going to do something with it.
Okay.
But all right, guys.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, can I have that side back?
Next week, maybe.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Later.
All right. Bye-bye.